Hello everybody, Kelly Marcus with Pampered Chef here, and tonight I am making a Creole white bean stew. It's a recipe that I created. I'm sure there's a lot of them out there that might be just like this, but this is the one I did. So let me show you how it's done. First thing I'm going to do is tip the camera down so you can see what I've got going on in my enamel cast iron Dutch oven. I started with 1 tablespoon or so of oil, and I first sauteed my 3 Cajun sisters. That would be your onion, celery, and green pepper, and I did that, sauteed that with 3 or 4 cloves of garlic. Once I had that softened, I threw in 12 ounces of smoked sausage that I cut into rounds, and I've just been letting it brown a bit. And you'll see down there at the bottom of my pan, if you look, let's see, you might need to go on this side. There's a lot of nice brown bits down there at the pan. Don't worry, that doesn't mean it's burning. That's all gonna come up in our next step and provide a lot of depth of flavor to our stew. So, all right. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to add a couple of teaspoons of Creole seasoning. This is blackening or Creole. You know, we have a lot of great seasonings at with Pampered Chef, but this is a seasoning that I get from a local spice store. If you can find a good local spice store, they usually have some wonderful mixes. And this gal here, I know her, and she creates a lot of her own, and they're absolutely wonderful. So I'm going to go ahead and put in 2 teaspoons, because my family likes things a little spicy, maybe 1.5. And then I'm going to stir that around and kind of coat our meat and vegetables and let it toast for just, you know, a little bit. You don't want it to burn, but kind of releasing all those flavors, getting everything nice and coated. Works great. All right. Now, next I'm going to add a 1/2 can to a can of beer. I do like to cook with beer and wine a lot. If you don't like to cook with beer, you can skip this step and just use some chicken broth to do this. But I'm going to deglaze the bottom of my pan. That's what it means to get all that yummy bits off the bottom with the beer. There's about a 1/2 can there. You can use any beer you like. Probably wouldn't want to use a dark stout or anything like that. But a lot of times I just use my husband's home brew, but he is between brews right now and needs to get it bottled, so I didn't have any. I went ahead and got this from the store instead. So now you can see that lovely, beautiful, dark color as everything on the bottom of the Dutch oven comes up and just creates a beautiful mix. I'm going to turn this down a little bit, and we're going to let this just cook for a few minutes. I'm going to add a little bit more in, I think. I don't want it to cook down too far. We're going to let this cook for a few minutes, and I'm going to swing you over to my workspace. All right. Now, over here, I'm going to just prep a couple of our other ingredients. This is a white bean stew, so I have a couple of cans of Great Northern white beans. You could probably use cannellini beans if you wanted. Whatever kind of white bean, I don't know why I took that out, you want to use, okay? And then I have my measuring strainer that I'm just putting in the bowl here. All right, I'm going to use the Pampered Chef can opener. This is an awesome can opener if you know how to use it. So I'm going to show you how to use it tonight. You just lay it flat on the can, and then you just start turning. If you're left-handed, you can turn that way. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to go this way. And I'm just going to go all the way around the can. And when it feels like it is, that it's going around again, you can kind of feel it's looser. You just turn back the top the other way and it releases from the can. And then there's this little grabber here on the end. It looks like little jaws with a little button. I don't know if you can see that. So I'm just going to grab the edge of the can with that and pull it up. This is great because it doesn't have any sharp edges. So it's nice, especially if you have young kids or if you like to use cans for crafts. Anyway, I'm just going to drain this right into my strainer colander here. I'm going to do the same to our other can. And And then I'm going to give this a good rinse and get all of that extra stuff off of it. So let me just slide on over to my sink really quick and give this a good rinse, and I'll be right back. All right. Got that done, and now let me actually dump this liquid out so it'll strain into there. And now I'm going to open up my can of tomatoes as well. Now I am going to drain and rinse the can of tomatoes once I dump this into the pot, because I do want the acid from the tomatoes, but I don't want all of those juices to make my broth taste tomatoey. Just a quick fun fact, interesting thing, the difference between Cajun cooking and Creole cooking is the use of tomatoes. They do use tomatoes in Creole cooking, but they do not use them in Cajun cooking. So there's just a little bit of trivia for you. But they add a really great little bit of acid to this dish. All right, let's swing back over and check on our meat. Okay, that's cooked down a lot. You can see it's still that beautiful brown flavor. So we're gonna, or broth. So we're gonna add the rest of our ingredients over here. All right, I'm gonna add 2 cups, sorry about that, of chicken broth using my easy read measuring cup here. And I like this because I don't have to bend over to see the measurements. All right, 2 cups. You probably could just pour, you know, if you're using something like this, you can just pour half of it in. I'm gonna go ahead and dump that in there. Give it a stir. And then I'm gonna add my beans here. And then I'm going to drain and rinse my tomatoes and add those in there. Just a minute, if you'll bear with me for a second here. I'll give these just a little bit of a rinse so we don't add too much tomato to our stew. All right. And then at this stage, we're also going to add the okra. Now, we love okra. I know some people are not fond of it, but we really enjoy it. So I'm going to put the okra in here. This is something that I keep in the freezer at all times for when we want a dish like this or gumbo or something like that. But finding fresh around here is really not as common, so we use the frozen. All right, now we're gonna just stir that all around, put the top on, and let that cook for a few minutes, for about 5 or 6 minutes. In the meantime, we have one more ingredient that we're gonna need, and that is the shrimp. Now, if your family does not like shrimp, or if you don't like shrimp, you can easily replace this with some chicken. So you would just want to, you know, cube your chicken, cook it up, and then you can throw it in there as well. I am using about a pound of raw shrimp, and of course it has been deveined. As you can see, the vein's been removed. If you don't know what the vein is, I'm not gonna tell you. You can go look it up, because I am gonna wanna eat later. But we still needed to peel them. I peeled all the rest. I just wanted to show you with this one. So it's really easy to peel if you've never dealt with it. You just take the, kind of peel it off either side, put your fingers in there, and then pinch at the tail or the legs, and it comes right off. So that will be ready to go into my pot. Now you don't want to add your shrimp too soon. Sorry, I need to give my hands a good wash since I was just dealing with raw shrimp here. You don't want to add them too soon because overcooked shrimp does not taste very good. So I will add them when I have about 5 minutes of cooking time left. We'll cook until those shrimp are nice and pink, and we'll be ready to serve our Creole white bean stew. I will put the recipe in the description, and if you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them in the comments. Have a great day and happy cooking.